Yo, we're doing a tier list of the best and the worst Cold War multiplayer maps, 6v6 for this video. If you guys like this, we may be expanding to gunfight and fire team and more. So if you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment down below. And before we get started, a question for you to answer in the comments. Let me know what your best or your most favorite Cold War map is and your worst, your most hated Cold War map is in the comments. You can do a whole tier list if you want to follow along in this video, but I'm curious to see what people think is the best and the worst. So real quickly, the rules for this tier list, let me go over the tiers. You can see if I zoom out right here, we have all of the 6v6 maps that are in Cold War as of season 5. As for the tiers, we're using the standard grading system of A, B, C, D, and F, with the S tier above all those for the best of the best, the greatest of all time maps in Cold War. And my descriptors on the side pretty much describe how I think about these lists. You know, we got the best, the good, the decent. Trash is a little bit overkill. Some people may think trash is equivalent to insta-leave. I probably should rename that to below average. And F tier, I don't know if I've necessarily insta-leaved in Cold War yet, but it gets the point across. These maps are the worst of the worst. All right, first up we have is Apocalypse down here, which is going straight to the decent category. I used to like this map a little bit more. It would have been in like good, but over time it has dwindled down a little bit. I wouldn't vote for it with the additional maps that have been added to the game. Just a little bit too head-on combat for me, for my play style. Next up we have is Armada, which I'm going to put in the trash category, which again doesn't mean it's a like complete trash map, although this map is pretty doo-doo. I do like the swimming aspect and the whole under part of the boat. I think if that didn't exist, this map would definitely be insta-leave. But with some of the maps I know that are going to be in the F tier, I know this is a little bit better than them, so it will be in the trash tier. Next up we have is Cartel, which I'm going to put in good. It actually is a pretty well-designed map. The only downside of this map is that it is fairly large, especially for standard 6v6. I think the combined arms is a little bit too chaotic with how many people are on it, but overall it is a pretty decent map. Unlike Checkmate, which is this airplane map in Cold War, this is an instant leave for me. I could never get into this map. Again, there's not many like flanking options on this. Pretty much whichever way you decide to go, an enemy could have a line of sight on you. I just do not think this map plays well at all. Next up we have is, what's this map called? Collateral, which honestly I haven't played much 6v6 on whatsoever. I think I played it some when it was in a 24/7 playlist, and I haven't seen it much in the playlist at all, so I can't accurately assess this map, but I think overall it belongs in the decent category alongside Apocalypse. Maybe good if I had more playtime on it. I don't think it's any lower than decent at least. Next up we have is Crossroads Strike, which is one of the best maps in Cold War. I'll put it in the A tier. Definitely would vote this over a majority of maps in the game. As a Call of Duty map in whole though, it does have some design flaws. I think the middle of the map could use some more like cover to move behind to get in between the spawns. The spawns play very well and the buildings play very well. The middle of the map is a little bit too contested for my taste for it to be an S tier map. But overall, really good map in Cold War. Next up we have is Diesel, which somewhere right here. It's decent or good. I think we're going to put it in the good category for now. I think I'd vote it over what we have in decent so far. We'll reevaluate all these maps at the end, but I think yeah, we'll put it in good for now. Drive-In, this is going to be our first GOAT tier map, first S tier map. I like this map in Black Ops 1. I didn't realize how much I liked it when it came into Cold War. I think this map plays well, suits all play styles. The sides can be used for flanking. You got like sniper fire and high power points in the middle of the map, but there's a ton of cover in the middle of the map that you can weave in and out of to get around the map fairly well, which a lot of the maps in Cold War do not have. There's always like one lane or one spot in the map that just like is a complete standstill, just ruins the flow of the map. Speaking of which, Echelon, I made a whole video on this. I think this is an amazing map for Cold War for kind of all the reasons I said, and if you want to hear more in depth and hear me flaunt over this map, again, I'll have that linked in the cards and in the description, so you can go check it out. But great map. I think this is this would be like the top map in Cold War. I think it's one of the best design maps we've had so far. Next up, we have Express from Black Ops 2, which this is either a or B tier map. I'm going to put it at B tier for now. I think it's good, not the best. I don't necessarily think maybe we'll reevaluate that map and come back to it at the end. Garrison, insta leave. I hate this map. It's too head-to-head for me. There are some decent like counter lines of sight you can get on this if people are holding power positions, but I think it's a little bit too long. You can get spawn trap. I'm not even gonna explain about it anymore. I don't like the map. Next up we have is Hijacked, which honestly I'm putting at decent tier. It could be a good tier, but I'm putting it decent for now. And part of the reason is because I've seen this map remastered in Black Ops games so much, I don't want to see it anymore. I honestly don't think it's like it's a small map, which people love a lot, like Nuketown, which is coming up, but I don't think it's actually that good of a map, at least in the Cold War version. I know in Black Ops 3, they had like a side panel where you could boost jump under that you could use to get around choke points and, you know, flank and stuff. That's absent in Cold War, though. It's kind of the standard version, which I never really was much of a fan of. Next up we have is Miami Strike, which this is the regular Miami map, but we're going to assume this is Miami Strike. I kind of forgot to update that. But Miami Strike definitely is a best map in this game. A solid map. It could be S tier, but there is that one like super skinny lane that I think ruins some of the flow in the map. But overall, very solid map, especially like such a great improvement compared to the base Miami that we had to play with. Next up we have is Moscow, which for me is a insta-leave map. It has a lot of the design flaws that I kind of been hinting on throughout this video, and I just never really could get into this map. I don't know. I don't like it. This may be one I admit people may see a little bit higher, but not for me. Next up is Nuketown, which, you know, I think a lot of people will say this is an insta-leave map or a S tier map. I'm going with a solid good map. Nuketown has a special place in everyone's heart. It's a chaotic map, kind of like Shipment, but honestly from a design standpoint, it's not a great map. You know, obviously we play Nuketown, you know, you kind of run to the middle and die. You can try to get into people's spawns and start getting like kill streaks and stuff, but doing that is very challenging because of how small it is and how easy it is for people to pick you off because there's not much cover in the middle. And honestly, I'm kind of getting sick of seeing Nuketown over and over again. I've been playing since Black Ops, since Nuketown was originally made, and it's been in every COD game, and it's just kind of getting tiring for me, especially now that they have like 24/7 playlists with Nuketown up every single week. It's just getting a little bit worn out for me. Next up is Raid, originating in Black Ops 2, which pretty much is a copy and paste, at least structurally, from Black Ops 2. Either S or A tier, but I think it's going to be in A tier. I don't necessarily think I like it as much as these S tier maps here, but it plays overall very well designed map, allows for flanking options, all different types of play styles. I think the pool side could use a little bit of work, but overall, solid map. Next up, we have Rush, another Black Ops 2 map, which honestly, what I actually think about this map, I think is trash. I never liked it when it was in Black Ops 2 when it came to DLC. I always thought it was like too cramped and just didn't play well, and they didn't really do anything for Black Ops Cold War, and I still have the same opinions. A lot of people like this because it's a paintball map. It's just not for me. I'm not really a fan of this map. Same with Satellite. I think this is also a trash map. Could be a decent map. Kind of has the same design concepts as Cartel, but I just don't think it is as good as a map as Cartel, and I don't like playing on it. Like, this is borderline instantly for me, honestly, if I'm in a multiplayer lobby, but it's a D tier map. Not the worst in the game, but meh. Slums. Oh, this might be controversial. Honestly, it's the same thing with all right, we'll put it next to Hijacked. We'll put it next to Hijacked. I do think it does have some weird design choices with how the middle of the map only has like 3 access points on each side, and they're pretty much choke points, so you gotta win your gunfight to get past it, or else you're kind of screwed. There's not many other routes other than the wall on the one side. But this map has been in so many Call of Duty games. I'm kind of getting tired of it, just like Hijacked. And, you know, it could be a good tier map next to Nuketown, but because I don't want to see remastered anymore, it's going to C tier. Next up we have is Standoff, which for the first time ever I think has been remade. Oh no, wait, it was in Black Ops. Was this a Black Ops 2 map? Maybe this was the first time it was remastered. I can't remember off the top of my head, but very solid map. Plays very well. Borderline S tier, maybe moving up at the end of the video, but we're gonna put it at A tier for now. Very solid map. Same with the Pines. This is an original season 1 map, and it is designed very well. It's a great medium-sized map. I like the smaller maps in this game, but if Pines comes up against any of these maps down below it, even Nuketown, I'm probably voting Pines, to be honest with you. 2 more maps here. We have Yamantau, which honestly, I think it's going to be S tier. This map is very, very solid. Pretty much for all the same reasons I've said I like good maps in the past. No reason to keep saying the same thing over and over again. Last but not least, we have Zoo, which originally probably would have been like an A tier map if it was the Cold War version, but now, decent or good. I think looking at what we have in these maps here, I think it's going to be in a good map. I really do hate how they just truncated that 3rd lane and didn't make any other design changes to kind of make up for that lost space. I made a whole video on this talking about it, but I do think that other side of the map does play pretty well. And for a Cold War map, I do think it's above average. It's pretty good. But we have to reevaluate this this tier list here. I'm not necessarily sure I'm happy with what we have right here. All right, we're definitely making some changes here because I'm looking this within Cold War now. I've kind of been reminiscing and comparing these to older Call of Duty games, but looking at just Cold War maps with how few maps we have in this game, one of the first changes we're making, Hijacked, going down the trash tier. Looking at some of these other maps and like thinking about the gameplay on Hijacked, I don't think it belongs to... Honestly, I think there needs to be a tier like right here, right in the middle, because I think it is a little bit better than these trash maps, but overall, it's going to D tier. We're also making another adjustment to Diesel. I think this needs to be moved down a tier to decent, and I think Cartel needs to be moved down. I gave Cartel its props. It is a really well designed map, but it is a bit too large, and if Cartel or Diesel were to pop up in map voting against these B tier maps, they would lose. I think they'd stand a better chance against these C tier maps. Overall, I think they're a pretty decent map, and I think that is going to be the list. I'm pretty happy with where this at. This is not in a particular order. These are tiers just overall. It's not like Drive-In's better than Yamantau. I could go back and do that, but for this video, for the sake of time, we're not going down that rabbit hole. They're just in groupings, and I think this reflects how I've been talking about maps throughout Cold War. I think the launch Cold War maps were very poor, even some of the DLC maps. I mean, if you look at the bottom half of the list here, all of these are original maps except for Rush, Slums, and Hijacked. The top half is like half and half. Just realized I probably should turn my cursor on so you can see where I'm pointing at. But the Pines, Yamantau, Echelon, Crossroads Strike, and Miami Strike are the only original maps in the top list. But what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with this list, or does something on the screen right now really irk you? Let me know down below in the comments. Or as I said at the top of the video, share your best and worst cold maps down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and check the links down below in the description if you'd like to help support the channel directly. Peace.